after all these years, when the script calls for a moment of sex, do the producers step back? Do they give you carte blanche to choreograph it? Or is there still a lot of... I mean, I'm being serious here. This is very serious. Are you given freedom, or is there still notes, awkward notes, like put your leg there and put your hip here? Do you have freedom?
Put your left foot in,
Okay.
put your right foot out.
No, we do not have carte blanche at all. You know, this is there's scripts, and you have to follow what's in the script. But there's always a discussion, and I think one of the biggest discussions we all have going into sex scenes is how can we make it have a point and a purpose. And I think, you know, we have that all the time with the writers and with the producers, because, you know, believe it or not, this is not softcore porn. We're making a TV show, and so if there's going to be sex, it has to be there for a reason, and it has to tell you something about where the character's at, or forward the story in some meaningful way, and we always have those discussions. I think if we stopped having those discussions, our show wouldn't be as good as it is.
Hi, how's it going?
Hi.
Hey.
I have a question about chemistry between actors.
I failed.
thought you-
I'm more of a physics. I'm more of a school.
I was like, this
kind
is
of guy.
my territory,
Oh, no, I got-
let me...
Yes.
I'm curious to know if you think it's something that you build through character development, or is it something that you, as an actor, feel a certain, I don't know, affinity with the corresponding actor? Is it an attraction, whether it's personality-wise or physicality, or is it a chemistry that you build through character development? That makes sense.
That's such a... I mean, I think chemistry, the term chemistry when applied to actors, it seems like such a broad term for just two actors that work really well together. And I think that can be many different factors. It can be because they have a natural kind of attraction in the first place, through working well with each other. Like Sophie and I think we always seem to be kind of on the same page in terms of where we think our characters are headed, what we think of the relationship, and that in itself can generate or stimulate a chemistry between the actors. I think there are many factors involved in what makes that work. And I think those are just a few of them. Like what you were saying as well, it does build over time. It gets better, it should get strong. I don't know, it might deteriorate over time, but I mean, in our case, it gets stronger over time. You start to learn how the other actor works, you know, and how to work better and more efficiently together. So
Well, I think that's the thing. I think it's a good mix. If you know, some people just naturally have a chemistry and can work well together. But I think also, as Richard was saying, you know, you can have the best chemistry on screen, but if you don't have the same idea for how a scene's going to go, then it's still not going to work. So it's kind of a mix of the two things, you know, just sort of, yeah, having the same sort of plan for a scene, if you like, and sort of being on the same page as to where your actors are.
All right, Sam, I have a similar question for you. Now, I guess the best way to put it, let's say Jamie had a Tinder account.
Oh, sorry. Tinder camp, did you say?
A Tinder account, and in your bio it said, absentee father, certainly a murderer, probably doesn't shower that much. I mean, what's left? I mean, is there anything else? I mean, you would swipe left like there's no tomorrow. So, and yet, so many women just find him absolutely irresistible. What is it about him that makes all of us want him so much?
Is that kind of hard for Sam to answer about himself or his character?
Meryl, should you take it?
Look, Meryl, why don't you help me here?
I actually could. Can I help him out?
I think you should.
I mean, I think we're also looking at things, obviously, from today's standards. And yes, from today's standards, there would be certain things you'd be like, go the other way. But back in that time, I mean, Jamie Fraser is a very forward-thinking man for that time. And that's why he and Claire make such a great couple, because they're equals. And he's willing to see her as an equal in a time when men did not see women in that way. And that's what makes us love them both. And love Jamie, that he adores Claire, but also respects her and sees her on an equal level. And he's sensitive, and he is a great father. It is not his fault that he had to send Claire back.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done.
Jamie and Claire are one of the greatest romances we've ever seen, I think, on the page and now on screen. And here comes the two of you. Are you sort of the next great romance
This
on
is
the
one
show?
of the greater romances.
Greater, yes.
No,
one
do
of
you
the
know-
greater. Thank you, sir.
It just brings a different romance. It
it's
just brings a
very
different relationship to the
Yeah.
show. It's a new dynamic. It's a fresh dynamic. You haven't seen characters really like Brianna and Roger on the show thus far. They're not, they're vastly different from your 18th century characters, and obviously I think it just starts to broaden the show out a bit. Just you have a bit more to it, and it's another romantic element, but I feel it's very different and doesn't jar with Jamie and Claire's. I think it's just
There's a
much
really
different relationship.
endearing awkwardness to Roger and Brie. They're both kind of geeky, and they kind of really bond through that. And I think Jamie and Claire are both very stubborn people, but they almost unite in that stubbornness, and they really hold each other up with that. Whereas I think Brie and Roger, they're both so stubborn that actually they push each other away, don't
I
they?
foresee
And
a
they
lot
kind
of slamming doors.
They take, yeah, exactly. They really take out their anger at life on each other. I think they do use each other as each other's punching bag, but in a way that creates its own really deep
Well,
bond.
they're very opinionated, they're very strong-minded people, so I think there's going to be a lot of locking of horns with the two
Yeah,
of them. But that's what I love about their
they know
relationship.
they're going to be
though.
together through thick and thin, but it doesn't mean that it's a straight road the whole way. It's,
Right.
It is very bumpy. They do, they do